Everyone says you hit the wall in a marathon because you run out of glycogen. And they're right, aren't they? Well, kind of. Yes, glycogen matters. But here's the question no one really asks. If that's the real reason, the only reason, why doesn't everyone hit the wall at the same point, in the same way? Some marathon runners slow gradually, others fall apart at 30k, and some, with the same fueling, don't hit it at all. So what's actually happening? So if you click this expecting another fueling video, another carb loading breakdown, this isn't that. In this short video, I want to break down the real reasons that marathon runners hit the wall, the ones that people never really explain, and exactly how you can train for your sub 4-hour marathon attempt. So when you reach that point in a marathon, you don't fade, but you finish strong. Because I fueled perfectly and still hit the wall, I've watched disciplined, experienced runners collapse at 30 to 32k, even though their nutrition plan was flawless. And over time, I've learned something important. The wall has very little to do with what's left in your stomach, and almost everything to do with what your body and brain never been asked to do before. If you've ever hit the wall, you'll know how brutal it feels. One moment you're running, maybe not comfortably, but controlled, and then suddenly your legs feel disconnected, your pace collapses, and your confidence almost evaporates instantly. What frustrates most runners is that it feels sudden and unexplained, so they assume it must be fueling. But in reality, the problem usually started weeks earlier in training. Through my own races, through the failures as much as the breakthroughs, I've realised that the wall isn't one single thing. It's what happens when several systems start breaking down at the same time. And once you understand those systems, the wall becomes less of a mysterious inevitability and becomes something you can actually prepare for. One of the most overlooked reasons runners hit the wall in the marathon is this: they haven't trained their brain and nervous system to recognise marathon pace when they're already tired. Many runners do plenty of easy miles. They might do some speed work. They definitely do their long run. But very little of their training teaches their body what marathon pace actually feels like after 90 minutes, 2 hours or more. That's why everything feels fine early on and then suddenly doesn't. Your nervous system starts to panic, your stride shortens, your form deteriorates. And even though your muscles may still have fuel available, your body no longer trusts the pace that you're asking it to hold. This is where progression runs and marathon pace blocks matter in your training. Not heroic sessions, just repeated exposure. Running the final third of that long run at marathon pace. Letting your body learn that this feeling is normal, not a threat. When fatigue shows up in the marathon, and it always does, your body will recognise that sensation and stays calm instead of shutting everything down. Another reason runners hit the wall in the marathon has nothing to do with legs or lungs. It's decision fatigue. During a marathon, you're constantly making small decisions. Pace, gels, water, crowds, other runners. By the time you reach 30 kilometers, your brain is already tired, and a tired brain makes poor decisions. That's when mistakes start compounding. You miss a gel, you surge without realizing, you lose rhythm. The wall doesn't feel like a physical crash, it feels like confusion. In training, simplicity is your advantage. Practice fueling automatically. Practice holding pace without checking your watch every minute. Reduce the mental load so race day requires less thinking. In the marathon, follow a script, not emotions. The fewer decisions you make late in the race, the more energy you preserve to keep moving forward. There's another form of fatigue almost nobody talks about: structural fatigue. As fatigue builds, posture quietly collapses. Your core switches off, your arms stop driving, your stride becomes inefficient, and every step costs more energy than it should. This is why the wall often feels sudden. It's not that you ran out of fuel, it's that your movement became too expensive to sustain. In your training, you don't need heavy gym work, you need consistency. Simple strength work, late run marathon pace, teaching your body to hold form when tired. During your marathon, posture cues matter. Tall chest, relaxed shoulders, strong arms. They won't make you faster, but they stop you falling apart. When runners talk about the wall, it's usually framed as failure, but the wall is feedback. It's your body telling you what it's not been prepared for yet. And for sub 4 runners especially, the difference between fading and finishing is rarely talent or fitness. It's preparation, not just of the muscles, but the mind and the nervous system. Of course, glycogen still matters. Fuel poorly and everything collapses faster. But fueling alone won't save you if your body doesn't recognize the workload you're asking it to sustain. Nutrition supports performance. It doesn't replace preparation. If you want to avoid the wall in your marathon, your training needs 3 things: exposure to marathon pace under fatigue, simplicity in execution, strength that holds your form together late in the race. Do these things consistently and the wall stops being a fear. It becomes a point you pass through, not something that stops you. The runners who finish strong aren't the ones who never struggle. They're the ones who prepared for the struggle before it arrived. And when you get this right, the marathon actually stops asking, can you survive this? And starts asking, how well prepared are you to answer it?